Hi, gentlemen. You're talking about rates of vaccination.
So
What percentage? Yeah, what percentage?
vaccination uptake.
Yeah, what do you got?
So as of the 1st of August, apparently 88% of over 18s got their first dose.
I look at the full population, which includes people that can't get it yet. And
yes, this is over 18s.
Yeah, which means that everybody that can actually get it. So in the United States,
I'm not sure you should vaccinate your children necessarily with like, it's a very difficult decision to make, right?
I don't know if it's that difficult of a decision.
I don't know. Do you want to give them AZ?
I mean, you're talking about the vaccine that you guys have there that killed people, because we don't have that here.
That we don't give to under 30s.
Yeah, we don't have that here.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Pfizer, and Moderna.
You don't give to under 30s. Our government is now basically was like, hey, you can get that if you go to your GP and get informed consent.
Yeah. So we're sending we're sending lots of doses to elsewhere, right? So we're sending a significant quantity of the AstraZeneca over to the Philippines. Which is,
you wanted to know the vaccination rate?
Interesting.
According to Google, the percentage of population fully vaccinated is 15%.
50 for out of the entire population, including infants. 50.3% here, fully, not just one not just one shot.
Yeah, it says fully.
I've not looked at including infants.
Yeah. So again, just because if you just type it into Google, the information that you get based on
it's still only 18%.
57% population of 57% of population fully vaccinated.
It's still only 18% when you go 16 and over. We are really not doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right, so what's up, guys?
Well, I mean, if you have like your vulnerable people vaccinated, then not only is that going to, so your government's not. Yeah, but your government's not, because I suppose you're in a vulnerable group, but like your government's not organizing it.
I work with disability, and I got lucky to get a vaccination. It is insanely hard for anyone to get the vaccination.
Yeah, but
anyone under 40.
A lot of people are over now as well as having trouble.
But
because like the demand.
But I know, like I was saying before, my state was diverting all their supplies to the Sydney area, so that's why we're kind of screwed where we are.
At least one dose is 58.5. There we go. That's where we are. I was looking for that thing.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about percentage 58.5. And then if you look at the actual number, at least one dose is 192,120,576 people, which is like 5 Australias.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't worry, Australia, you'll catch up. We lapped you 5 times.
We'll see.
That's funny. So they started doing Massachusetts has $1 million lottery that you could sign up for, and they pull that lottery. I think it's 4 times. So
I know that there was a thing that was put forth for ours, which was like a $300 once-off thing for getting vaccinated. Don't know if that's going for. I don't. That was like presented. I think the other side. I think our right wing was
Labor wanted to push $300 for everyone who got vaccinated, but they cut it out. Now they're trying to implement some type of vaccine lottery. So whoever's vaccinated gets in the draw to win the lotto.
Yeah. So that's what they did in Mass. But I mean, like, Massachusetts' population is so small that it's actually a pretty decent chance of winning, like, in theory. So let's say the population is 7 million and 5.5 million get vaccinated. And of those 5.5 million, 4.5 million are the ones that sign up for it. that, and then they pull it 4 times. That means you have a 4 in 4.5 million, which is like a 1 in 1.1 million chance of winning $1 million. 1 in 1.1 million is a pretty high odd of winning that kind of money. So that's pretty sweet, you know. And then if you assume the fact that, let's say in my household you have myself and Britt, that's actually a 2 in 1.1, so a 1 in 500 or whatever thousand for each drawing, because there's 2 people inside, you know. And Brittany's like, "What, you think I'm gonna share with you?" No. But I mean, you never expect to win those things, but it's like, oh, I'll press the buttons. Here, feel free to take my data, you know. But anyways,
I don't know. I want a trip to Mexico once on the radio.
I want to
God, was that
contest
like
once, but it
40
wasn't
years
trip to Mexico.
Like back when the radio was the thing.
Yep.
Whoa, hey,
I was 18. No, actually, no, I was 21.
That's pretty cool, though. Not gonna lie, that's pretty cool.
I think it was 19 when I won a radio contest. So that was like 2005. So you were probably what, 2008?
No, 2011 actually.
2011. Okay, yeah, because you were older too. That's right, you were older too. So a whole trip to Mexico, everything included?
Yeah, they put us up at it was me and my partner at the time, and they put us up in some really nice place, and it had like a big festival going there, and we got to go up with the DJs and all that. It was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Except we had to stop over in America, and they like brought me into that questioning thing because they're like, "You want a trip to Mexico?" And I was like, "Yeah, on the radio." And they're like, you know.
Like, oh, no. You look like you could be transporting things. Open up.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, mine was it was Southern New England's Biggest Loser was the name of the contest. It had nothing to do with weight, which people always confuse that with because of the TV show. It was more or less like, you're such a tool bag, like you can win this contest. The only way that you can enter into the contest is by a friend or family member has to submit your application via a call to the radio station. It was my girlfriend at the time. And I beat a guy that was wetting the bed in his 20s, which is probably a good thing. I mean, that's kind of like, it's kind of rough that somebody entered them into the contest for that.
Shaming him.
But hey, listen, that's 2005, man. It's a different era than nowadays. Nowadays, you laugh at something like that, you're a dickhead. Back then, it was like, tool. You know, like it's different. So,
America.
So, no, that's the planet. That's the planet.
Like that guy needs therapy.
Yeah, exactly. but again, 16 years ago, you just made fun of him. You didn't like, oh, what's the matter with them? You know. So anyways, and I lost because I still didn't have a car. I was still using my parents' car because I was spending all my money buying D&D books and bought a fold-out table and a bunch of folding chairs and like all this like different like character sheets and whatnot. And I would, every time a friend was like, hey, let's play games, I had a pop-up game, Campaign World, where everyone is based out of like one camp. And more or less, I would do a whole bunch of little quests out of a camp, and I would drive to my friends' houses and set up in basements or wherever, backyard, garage, wherever we could. I would just bust up the table and chairs and dice and everything that was always in my parents' trunk. My parents always get mad at me because I just left all this shit in their trunk all the time, just so it was like quick access. And anyways, I got to hang out with Fall Out Boy, which made me feel like a bigger loser than winning the contest. So, anyways. So Neil, you want to remind us where we left off 2 weeks ago?
No. I think actually it would be good for you to engage your neurology and get that going there, Scott. It's really good for you to play some mind games. They suggest like doing memory games and whatnot really helps with dementia.
Huh? What?
Yeah, you got to do like mind games. You got to keep your brain active, you know.
Like Sudoku?
Yeah, all sorts of things.
I love
One
Sudoku.
of which would be like we're gonna try this now. We're gonna try our long-term recall. So we're thinking about what 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Where did we begin? Let's go with this chronologically.
We started the call, bullshitted for way too long, and then I left for work.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And do you remember any of the stuff that happened in the middle? There's basically one conversation of import. I'll give you the name, Sea Pearl.
Oh, my notes. I need to get out my notes.
Did you?
One conversation she had with us, basically, of any import. That was it. The rest was just buying stuff.
Oh, Sea Pearl. Did Viggo find your anal beads?
No,
Yes.
they're well hidden. And they are not made of pearl. He's a working class man. Come on, guys.
I remember obviously the important conversation that was had that was started prior, and then I think you missed part of it because you weren't here instead of her place. Obviously, you guys finished the conversation, but I don't know where you went after that.
We literally just bought stuff.
Oh,
At this point,
we
we completed all of the admin, and now we're pretty much ready to set off. Dependent, I can't remember what. I think
She's still giving us money though. Remember?
She's giving us an amount.
You've got to give us
actual
our money.
Gold for use in your funds. Yeah, true.
I thought you get. Oh my!
Yeah,
I
we got
understand.
credits to spend from.
Yeah,
our
you got the
last
10K. Okay,
and
yeah.
then she's giving us stuff
Right.
for
Now we
For your transportation because you're going through.
memory exercise for Scott. Yvonne's.
What's it called? Yeah, Yvonne's. I was like,
Now we've done that memory exercise, we'll do a quick. So we returned from the Barren Lands.
Didn't you sort of slap him in the face?
It's good for you, Scott.
Hey, Anno, I got a favor to ask of you. You don't live far. You don't live far. I mean, you fought that war a couple times. It's a Zeppelin ride away. Okay, like,
Oh my God.
can you just do me a favor, Anno?
You'll have forgotten about this in 30 minutes, guys. Fine. So we made it back from the Barren Lands, and we had our sort of debrief from Sea Pearl and our brief for our next mission, and it was decided that we were given the option to work under the direct command, although maybe not so direct, but the explicit command of the River King. And so we all agreed, and we were given the mission to head to Yvonne's, or more precisely, Yvancia, or Yvancia. And we were deciding about ways to get there, and we decided to take a boat from the south of Yvonne's, or to the south of Yvonne's, all the way up into, thank you for the map, all the way up into, that's perfect timing there, Tesh, thanks. All the way up into, I think we're heading to Renetslav, if I recall correctly, which is going to be the place for the new coronation of the new prince, because they decided, you know what? What's the nearest city to the front lines? Let's hold the coronation there. Yes, this is Paradel tacticians at their finest. They're like, no assassination has happened in here in the past week. It'll be fine. Like, it'll be good. So, we are going to go there.
Do it again.
We are going to go there. And we are going to hopefully find out what happened to the previous prince who was assassinated, if you recall. Weedle out any snakes in the nest, and then observe the next coronation.
Yep. I know all of this. Are you trying to remind me of all this?
No, I'm giving the recap for chat.
All right, good. Gotcha.
And we basically did a bunch of admin stuff where we spent our effective credits, and so then we wasted the entire session doing that. But we're done now, so we can set off and do some fun stuff, hopefully.
So while you're doing that, I just wanted to double check something. I don't know where Anno lives, but Munich to London is only 1146 kilometers, which is 712 miles. Whereas, say, Providence, Rhode Island to, say, Orlando, Florida, which is like, say, me to where, what's-his-face, Josh came from, is, where's that miles? 12,053 miles. So almost double the distance. So I'm just saying, you got a less than 2 hour plane ride
Yeah, but the difference is,
close.
right?
You get to hop on a puddle. You get to hop on a puddle hopper, slap him in the face, hop on a puddle hopper, and make it home, and not really, and like miss a D&D session. That's all it is.
The difference is like, crossing one side of America to the other, like you're not really passing anything.
Oh, I
going
agree.
from one side of Europe to the other, you're crossing the whole world effectively. Like sure, there's a lot of distance in America, but there's no culture, there's no anything.
Oh, I agree. That whole area, that's where Wade lives. I agree with you. So
I actually had a character named Providence after Providence in America. And I gave him my shitty American accent, which I won't repeat for fear of actually offending some Americans.
Oh no, Americans get so actually a bunch of Americans do get offended easily. Fuck them. So, anyways, let's jump into all of this stuff. So, the amount of money that you were getting allotted to you from Sea Pearl for the sake of the transportation from A to B, because you're just traveling through Yovance, it was 900 gold. So, that's a considerable amount of money to be just handed over to you. So, I would suggest not running away with that, because then might be a bounty on your head for more than that.
300 each.
I just assume if Americans getting offended that they're just playing it up for the sake of the likes.
So 300 each?
No, there's 900 gold given to you for the sake of transportation. It was given to your commanding officer.
Oh, okay.
Oof.
He's like, but I want to spend my money how I want. No, you're getting coach.
You can take 300 each.
No, that's your job. You can deal with the money.
No, I give you 300 gold.
I'm not paid to deal with that. I'm not accepting that. Look, if you lose it, that's on your head. If I lose it, it's on my head. Triss would legitimately refuse the 300. Like, it's different with credit and whatnot, but like, if he loses 300 gold and it's not spent on something, what the hell's he gonna, like, he'll literally get court-martialed.
Okay.
That's right. Gallon takes the 300. So you got 600. Gallon is 300.
Mm-hmm. It's like I'll be paying for Tristan then.
Well, I mean, honestly, what you do is you can just hold on to all 900, and then you can say, "Hey, Tristan, can you do us a favor and book us fare here?" And then give him the amount of money for it. And then you just make him the go-getter. Like, oh, you want to be difficult? Okay. And you just give him every responsibility that requires gold and hand him the allotted amount.
He knows that numbers are not his thing. Like, why would you give him so much gold?
Fair enough. All right. Do you want to just take it, or do you want me to take it, Tesh?
Well, he's the one that goes to the brothel, and he leaves too big of a tip.
You take it.
Okay.
That could be misinterpreted.
So if you have 600, I have 300. Essentially, we'll treat mine as backup, sort of thing. I assume nothing's going to happen to
Can you just tell me to take the 900?
Oh, no, okay. If you want to take the 900, we can do it that way as well.
Yeah.
We'll do that. No, it's fine. Realistically, Gallon wouldn't care.
Okay. So now that 900 gold has been figured out, your characters are, of course, going to be looking to leave and hop on your transportation all the way down there. And as you can see by looking at the map that was thrown into chat by Tesh, it is not a short trip. Where you guys currently are is in McGlynn. At the base of that river that's, way over to the eastern part of Paradel. Where you guys are going to be going into isn't even on the map. Like, the river that you'd be hopping into to go to Yovance isn't even on the map. So you would have to head all the way west along the shore to finally enter into the southern reaches of Yovance and then start heading up the rivers there. The reason why you're sticking to the rivers, obviously, is because where you're heading to is on the river itself. It's right at Slav, which you can see on the map that was posted by Tesh inside of chat. So, your characters, any last stuff that you're doing before you actually head out of here? You had your full conversation. You have your understanding what you got to do. Blah 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 blah. It's just a matter of skimming the coast and starting to head in because you guys chose to go waterways.
Oh, I don't have anything left to do, I don't think.
Did you end up finishing up all the stuff that you needed to do with your potions, Jake? I feel like we did cover all that stuff last time. I don't recall.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Cool.
I learned a whole bunch of new extracts.
Okay, cool. I thought so. That's right, because you asked for a device that I said no, and instead you got to use it in their facility. Cool.
Yeah.
We got the. Didn't you get the?
I got the
I mean, that
cheaper
happened.
version that
But he
allows
also
me
got,
to
like, the cheaper
destroy,
version.
destroy a potion to be able to use it.
Cool. Awesome. So you guys are going to be booking yourselves a charter yourselves a ship all the way along the coastline heading west along southern parallel, just to make sure that you can get your way all the way in. There are a few different ways you can go about this. If you want to make this travel as rapid as possible, you can book for yourself onto a direct path from McGlynn all the way to the Yovant city that will be at the bottom of the river there. My apologies. At the bottom of the river there, so a like a shipping vessel, because obviously we're not doing a parallel military one. We discussed this beforehand. All the way over there directly. It's going to keep you in the water the entire time, which can be a little bit difficult, physically draining for all of you. But it would get you there a bit quicker, or you'd have the opportunity to say take a couple little hops. So from McGlynn to Basque to Turnic. To I can't see what the name of that city is there, all along Duin and Sahora to eventually get there, adding days to the trip for you, but giving you an opportunity to potentially pick up other things along the way. The reason why you might want to do this is because, well, Duin, while not being something that necessarily you guys care so much about, in Sahora, that's actually like one of the two places where there's high education. So you have access to areas where you might have additional books you can get your hands on, or higher tier educational stuff, so on and so forth, if there was anything particular that you were looking for. I don't think there was, but I would be remiss if I didn't offer.
I don't think so. I think we should get there as quick as we can, because we don't know when the thing's going to happen, and we were told to go, so get there as quick as possible.
So I want to be efficient with the time. Makes sense. Are you sure though? Because I know that Tristan really wants that next VC Andrews book, novella coming out. So is Tristan gonna be okay?
Oh, so something that just popped into my mind that I remembered to clarify. Virgil, I forgot to tell you, I reread the telepathic speech thing that he has now. Not only can he speak to anyone now, so Virgil can speak, it's anyone with a language. Not a language I or he knows, it's just a language. He can talk to them telepathically.
30 feet?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
And he just has to be within 1 mile of me.
I feel like Virgil is gonna end up becoming the hell's the name of that dumb pixie from Zelda?
Hey, listen.
Right? Like, should I just record that voice? Hey, listen. It's just like, and you can't get rid of it. You can't like cover your ears, go la la la, because it's like in your brain. So,
I mean, you can get.
I just realized if I can leave him with one of you guys, as long as you're within 1 mile, we can talk.
I mean,
telepathically.
Yeah, because he can talk to you and I can talk to him.
Well, didn't you also have missive?
Yes, but that's not 1 mile's range.
Oh, what's the range of missive?
It is.
I think the missive might also just be like quick communication too, but.
I didn't put down a range. Where's Crystal thing? Oh, it doesn't say a range on the crystal. I assume missive is an actual thing, and that's why I didn't put a range on the crystal warrior thing.
It's an actual spell or manifestation. It's called. Sorry.
Close. So 25 plus 5 feet per 2 caster levels. I don't think I ever get to cast it above 1. So 25 feet.
And you send telepathic message up to 10 words. Strictly one-way exchange.
Yeah, but that's also 25 feet. But actually, I mean that that means I can if he can, oh no, he can do the same thing essentially, except within 30 feet. And just talk to them.
Yep. Well, within 30 feet of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I can leave him with them if I need to scout or something.
Yep. Yep. All right, cool. Moving on. So, he does not want the next VC Andrews book, so we're gonna go hopping on a ship and starting to head west.
No. Of course he wants it, but he's a soldier. He's on a mission right now. He's making sacrifices for his country. Come on, let's have some Paradel nationalistic pride going on.
I don't know. Nationalism is one of those words that can be misconstrued. I want to avoid using.
Yeah, so is Climë.
It's just the choice. It's just the choice. You know, he gets to make the choice. You know? It's like, oh, the test came back positive. Climë.
Like I think we'll all be doing a very good favor not reading too much into Paradel.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, the you are my apologies. So you guys are chartering yourself riding on a vessel to bring yourself all the way between A and B. Last question I'm going to ask about this. I'm going to hop it in. And this is more to you, Jake, because you're the CO, but they can obviously chime in. Do you want to have yourself a proper rooms? Like, okay, no, we want to be treated well while we're on this vessel. We want comfort and to be left alone and so on and so forth. Or are you looking for, well, we're getting passage on a shipping charter, but there's certain expectations of us as well while we're here, because every bit of weight is additional cargo, which requires additional handling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you're looking for more of a luxury, or you're looking more for a get your hands dirty, work the whole time?
Definitely not the latter.
Okay. So more of the...
What are you talking about in price-wise, though?
My apologies. I was actually pulling that up. Just my clicker wasn't clicking. I got answer for you right here. All right, cool. So, it is by. So I actually have to open up the map because I'm a dumb fluffy. So it's actually only about a silver piece a mile for if you're doing work. And then probably 5 silver a mile if you're not. Sorry, 1 second. I didn't pull up my map that actually has the ability to measure on it. I think I have that in Regicide? Do I have the full... No, I had it in the other one.
Oh, that's something, Scott. I meant to ask you, what are the colors of the cloak again?
I just got asked by Roll20 if I'm new to Roll20, and in the top right-hand corner above it, it says 8,800 hours. It says Roll20, 8,800 and whatever hours, and then it's like, are you new to Roll20? What? Sorry, what second?
Cloak of the Hedge Wizard, what colors was it? Because you said it had specific colors.
Oh, I totally did not do that while I was on vacation. I enjoyed my vacation.
Oh, that's fine.
I'll get that for you afterwards. Trying to get me over
other than
to
the colors. I can describe that while you're trying to get that up.
Yep.
Because I remember you wanted me to figure out how that looked.
I think it's about 830 so far, and then I got to keep going over here, and it's gonna be all the way up to this one. 830 plus 220 is 1,050 miles, and so that is 1,050 divided by 10 is 105 gold pieces each if you're doing work. And you can imagine if you're not doing work, it's going to be twice that cost.
Ooh.
So 210 gold pieces each if you're not doing work, traveling along that entire distance down there.
So that's like more than we can
Make sure
afford
I did
both
that right.
ways.
Yeah, because it's 1 silver piece each. No,
We
105
won't be
gold.
coming back this way.
Because you guys got 900 gold pieces.
Yeah. So how much
Yeah.
is it all up for
But-
the three of us?
Scott, it's 600 one way if we don't do work. We can't afford to go to, and we're taking this way back.
Oh, you have no idea how you're gonna get back. This is
We
your
won't-
travel.
we won't
This
be
is your
taking
travel
way
there.
back anyway.
Yeah.
We'll be probably
Oh, we
going
won't
through
be taking this way
Avencia
back.
and like through Paradise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's over 1,000 miles. You know what's funny is that's actually further than the distance between Munich and London. So I'm just saying, just that you guys are traveling further than I would have to slap Neil for me.
All right, so give me a precise amount for it. I missed it.
My apologies. 105 gold pieces each for travel with you guys being a part of the crew. Not like oh, we're doing all the work, but like actively having responsibilities, or double that. So 210 each to literally be able to luxury do nothing.
Well, I mean that's way too much. We'll have to work.
Okay. So that's going to be 315 gold pieces apiece. Hey, poet. 315 gold pieces each to be able to travel
No,
over
no.
there.
300
No, no.
each.
Oh, sorry, 315 total.
Right.
Sorry.
I was gonna say.
To be able to travel to the southern part of Yovance, whose name always eludes me. Like, go back and check all the streams of Thronekeeper, and I struggle with Yovance. Cool. So while doing this travel, is there anything that your character is going to be focused on or thinking about? Because this is a long ass trip. I'm going to get that how long it takes for you in just a second. And I'm going to get the name of the city you're pulling into in just a second as well. So. I love the song. I won't lie. I hope it doesn't give Joey anxiety because the song is awesome.
Oh, I gotta see what June is.
So let's see. This is for a sailing ship. 48 miles a day. And I said it was how many miles? 10,050.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces from Destiny 1, Scott.
It takes just over 21 days. So it takes about 3 weeks just to get there.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Just to get to the bottom of Yovance. Was there anything for you guys in the 21 days?
I mean, I don't think there's anything mechanically. It's more just like what we want our characters to do. I imagine in the very little downtime we get because you said we're part of a crew. Yeah, I imagine he's getting used to the cloak and using the various abilities of the cloak, as well as trying to get used to the new energy blast that he has. Trying to sort of like I would say maybe like figuring out how to channel it that way opposed to physically.
Okay. So more or less just kind of get used to physically using that, and that's fine. Of course, yeah, you figure it out. You know what I mean? There's no like pyrotechnics or anything like that. They're gonna like freak people out while you're using it because it's meant to be more of like a to help with stealth. So
Yeah, the idea is instead of having to throw a physical thing, he's figuring out how to channel that into just a direct energy hit.
Mhm. Oh I am so sorry. I thought you were talking about the cloak of invisibility, effectively not invisibility, but like sneaky.
No.
You're talking about your own
I don't have
powers.
the cloak of sneaky. I have cloak of hedge wizard.
Yeah, the cloak of hedge wizard, which gave you sneaky power.
Oh, it makes me small. I can make myself.
Yeah,
small.
if I remember correctly, it gave you a few abilities that make you better at sneaky.
Expeditious retreat, reduced person, and then also prestidigitation and mage hand at will.
Yeah, all those things make you good at sneaky. Because think about it, if you
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Stealth, you take a penalty unless you move at half speed. But when you double your speed and then move at half
I
speed,
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's like a huge boon for.
Yeah,
I'm
just
fighting
activate
hiccups.
both reduced person and expedition retreat at the same time, and then zoomy zoom, but tiny.
Yeah. Oh, damn it! Sorry, I got hiccups. It's so frustrating.
Oh,
Well,
that's right. Transmutation. What's the colors for transmutation for the school? You said last time.
Well, the primary for actually, I said I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That was the thing I was supposed to do.
Don't worry, we'll get that color later. Then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the other thing. You wanted me to describe the cloak. It's like one of those ones that's like over one arm more than the other arm, and he's left his right arm the least covered, so it's the least inhibited for throwing. And on the inside of the part that goes over his left arm's shoulder is where all the arcane scrollings are that he uses to cast the spells.
Spells? Oh, in the cloak.
Well, reduced person.
Yeah, in the cloak.
Prestidigitation.
Yep. I understand. It's almost like having notes written on your forearm for a test.
Yeah.
But it's like embroidered into the cloak. Like
exactly.
that's pretty
how
funny.
I imagined it.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. Like you imagine it really is a hedge
for someone who doesn't use magic to be able to use it. So
yeah, I solemnly swear to be up to no good, sort of a thing. Yeah, like,
exactly.
That's funny.
Oh, and it does have a hood as well. I want specifically, and it's because that's going to be necessary to help hide crystal me.
Well, the good news is the primary color is not white, so we're good there.
Good.
Yeah, we're good there. So the Jake, was there anything you're doing over those 21 days, or are you just going to push on?
I will be reading with some books that I would have brought with me on Vancinian culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a culture shock when I get there.
And
apart from, well, it's not as big of a shock, right?
Like,
but apart from that, he'll probably spend every night getting drunk. Yeah, before he goes to sleep, he'll be getting that bucket of seawater, turning it into wine. He'll drink.
My god, that's brilliant.
Fun. That's great for your constitution. Okay, so Neil's not back yet, but that's fine. So the travel going all the way from A to B, that 21 days, it's most likely not going to have anything going wrong with it. Again, there is a chance that there's going to be like really bad weather or anything like that. So just to sum up each of the week's weather patterns, why don't we have 3 people in chat roll a D100? I'll let you 2 choose the first 2, and if Neil comes back, he can choose the 3rd.
Okay, you know what?
Green can roll.
I think V-Sword's actually away. They said be right back and never came back. You know what, Steve? You could roll mine.
Green rolled a 32. I'm just trying to look for overall weather patterns.
Oh, too late.
And then Steve, well, okay, and so V-Sword can get the other one because what's his name is not back yet.
Oh, that works. Wait for chat to catch up.
Yep, yeah, it's all good. So with the first one there, what's his name with the 32? It's actually going to be rather cold.
Wow, that's well rounded.
So the first week of travel, it's actually pretty darn cold. It goes on for a while. That the temperatures, despite the time of year, are abnormally cold. And don't forget, you're in the southern parts, so this actually is not abnormal for you guys. Heading south gets colder for you, as opposed to for me, because I live in the United States. Heading south gets warmer. So you guys are traveling on the southern border, and again, just being on the coast there, it's just particularly frigid, and then all that sea air and everything has made it particularly cold, which makes things a little bit rough for you. On top of that, you often have a very heavy morning fog that for each of your characters tends to be a very it's a little unnerving. Waking up in the morning being like, I can't see the other side of the boat. You know what I mean? Sometimes the fog is so thick, it's just out of nerves. You either walk with a stick in your hand, swinging out and bumping into somebody, pissing them off, or you have to tap your foot forward before you step forward, so go kerplunk. Yes, sir.
Very, very quick tangent on that. When my family went to England and we're going to Stonehenge, we were driving on the highway to get to Stonehenge, and it started raining and had a fog like you're describing come in to the point where we couldn't see the backlights of the truck that was about 20 meters in front of us.
Oh, really?
We had to pull off to the side because we couldn't see anything. And like, it was terrifying.
Yeah, it can get a little unnerving driving through thick fog. And almost no car comes at fog lights as standard. That's always like an added feature. And I don't know about you, but I always get the cheap model of every car. You know what I mean?
Well, ours is a rental, so I think it was very cheap.
Yeah. Like, it's the fact that fog lights aren't like built in as standard just is mind blowing. At least here in the US. So, Brittany's car is a souped up one because we bought through her uncle. And so we got like a used car that was like the titanium package, which was the second highest one. So it was the first car we had that had like extra features beyond like roof rack. You know, usually it's like you get the cotton seats, be happy it runs. Oh, by the way, a roof rack, you know. So anyways, this is the next week immediately after that. The temperature does a huge swing. So if it was beforehand a particularly frigid week of travel, this one you guys get with a little bit of it's not like a complete swing. So it's above average temperatures for this time of year, but not like sweltering, oh my God, crazy hot. But it is like a hard swing from what it was beforehand. The downside to that is whereas beforehand the fog was aggravating and it was dangerous because people literally would just go kerplunk overboard. Because that happens. That's actually a very common thing that happens at sea during thick fogs. This time,
Nice.
It's like constant rain going on the entire time. It's just absolutely constant rain, which is genuinely frustrating in Dura Elements. So, in Dura Elements is nice because the rain actually it doesn't stick to you. It almost like hits like a 1 inch over your shoulders barrier and flops off. So again, the next time, this is miserable. This is like your characters are not.
My sister-in-law arrived.
You're fine.
Although not legally yet.
I was like, in law, excuse
at
me.
some point.
If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it.
We were discussing that.
Put Chloe on the call. I want to talk to Chloe about how I want to talk to Chloe about how you're taking the merits of using in-law. Excuse me.
That is a sacred term.
Absolutely. You don't get to call her waifu if she doesn't get to go blang blang. That's like, come on, man.
Anyway, so they arrived and they gave me a gift for when I've not actually said. I've not said on stream how for when I eventually go into hospital, they just bought me a Nintendo Switch.
That's awesome.
Incredibly kind.
Yeah.
That is very awesome.
So I was just a bit in shock. I was like, oh my God.
We're going to play Rise.
Yeah.
We're going to play Rise.
Yeah, I know.
Blue Chew? So anyways, Neil, just without any extra details, does that mean thumbs up?
Yeah, October now, mid-October.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
No, well, I only heard the other day, and
okay, yeah,
everything. So
you don't have to get into this now.
Yeah,
you're welcome to, but you don't.
I'm sure I've said in chat vaguely.
I don't know.
Yeah, V sort of knows. Anyway, all my tests came back good. So mid-October.
Yeah. You had said that things were looking good with all the preliminary stuff with the matches or whatever. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So now,
fantastic.
Now, real, but yeah, no, I was just reeling in shock from. I wasn't really expecting it.
Yeah. Well, that's very sweet of them.
That is, yeah, incredibly sweet, isn't it?
Oh, that's nice. How long are they sticking around for?
It's just Lucy for today, and then they're going to their parents. I'm going to my brothers and seeing my parents.
So for like the rest of the day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool, because this is only over in like an hour and 15, so it's not like you're missing. Okay, cool, cool. Awesome. That gives the girls time to catch up, which is important. Awesome. So right now they're talking about where the ring is. So.
Well, it's in America somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get me old mining pitchfork and pick my mining pick, and I'll go find it for you.
Mining pitchfork, is that like you just drive down a beach in like California or LA with your pitchfork, and you just pull people off the end at the end of it, and you're like, that'll do.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like Orange County. they could definitely work in California. My ring, it's on the Lazy Susan on the counter in my kitchen. I know that for a fact because I looked down when I came home from work last night. I said, "Oh, that's where it is."
Seems like a terrible place to store a ring.
I love that he only knows because he was surprised by it being somewhere.
I thought it was in my bedroom. I don't know why it was there.
I think my friend got like a bracelet, like just a chain instead. Because it's more symbolic of the man being chained and like just because a ring would have annoyed him, so he got this instead.
That's funny. A ring does annoy me. It annoys the shit out of me. So,
why don't you just make a change to it?
Brittany bought me a really nice watch, the one that you guys sometimes see me wear, around the time that we got married. I could just say that that's my wedding watch.
Yeah, fair. But watch is kind of, I don't know whether I'm sorry, guys.
So counting the time, I'm counting the seconds that we've been together.
Aww.
I mean, noting them. Noting.
Yeah, you're savoring every second.
Yeah, that's right. Let's move on. So, I'm glad she stopped watching Wednesdays. She watched long enough to save Leon, and then sometime after that, it was around COVID, she stopped. Thank God. So moving on.
Iron Monkey.
Yeah, Iron Monkey. 7. No, there's some numbers.
There
after
are
that.
some numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. 22, probably 22. So anyways,
anyway, sorry for derailing, guys.
No, you. That's important. That's
Yeah.
satisfying your woman. I mean medical stuff. So.
In your case, like satisfying your woman and medical stuff go together, though, right, Scott?
Unfortunately, yeah. The procedure went well, though. So partially used. It's not so bad. So.
Oh my God.
So where were we? The second week was uncharacteristically warm, and it rained a ton. I'm going to get to why this matters in a moment. And then the third week, which was, I think, Steve had rolled. No, Visor did with the 49. The third week for you guys, the weather happened to be pretty typical for that time of year. And... Actually, that's funny that it went that way. It actually ended up being, I went from light rain to off and on heavy rain, is what you're getting the next time. So from very cold and foggy to warm and rainy to average temperatures, but off and on heavy rains, this ends up being a bit of a miserable trip for your characters. The reason why I wanted to kind of like see how the weather played out, which actually played out kind of nasty, is because unfortunately being exposed to the elements like that consistently, and the kind of like work and whatnot that you have to do, constant sea spray, the foods that you're eating, this can actually negatively impact your characters. I'm just going to need from each of you it's not incredibly high, I'll tell you. It's a DC 11 fortitude save to avoid gaining any like sicknesses that you may have gotten while on the trip.
DC 11 is kind of rough.
DC 11's not that bad when you factor in the fact that luck dice and whatnot exist. Jake just stepped away. If he's not back in 10 seconds, I'll click it for him. I will, because I think he can hear me anyway, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't care. So
wait, have you got a new
10,
sub badge?
9, 8. I did. Did you not see the fact that Discord changed names?
No, I like. Oh yeah, I did to properly Scooter Squad.
Yeah, and the new sub badges are actually
I
scooters.
Like as I said when we initially had the discussion, I think we should be the Scooter Squad.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because clicking that for him. Oh, he passed, no problem. Yeah, it's more or less. I have 5 badges. It's like a scooter, then me on the scooter, then like me on the scooter with a helmet, me on the scooter with a helmet with a flag, then me on the scooter with a helmet, flag, and rocket power coming out the back.
Yeah, so, I'm on the rocket power now.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Unlikely to be scragglers.
So anyways, your characters are able to, again, it's frigid, it's cold to the bones, it's uncomfortable, it's warm. Some of your clothes actually get properly ruined from just like how wet they are all the time, and just like yeah, it doesn't help you when it gets wet less than an hour later. So just like sitting there, sea spray. So your characters are incredibly miserable the entire 21 days. So it's not like you get much leisure time to yourself anyways. But you eventually are able to arrive into Yovance. So when you guys arrive into Yovance, important thing to note for you, Jake, for the kind of research that you were doing, never mind culture for a second. The important thing to note of where it is that you're arriving. If you guys happen to be looking at the map of all of Paradel, which I'm going to post into chat for you. Yes, that is the correct link. That is not my OnlyFans. So the if you're actually looking there, the river that you're going to be going up into, this is in Yovance. The one that splits up once partway into Yovance and splits again, bringing you up into the lake that's up there. This actually goes through the capital of Yovance.
How do you say that? Is that RK or Arche?
RK.
Okay, so yeah, we're going right through Yovance. Now, I originally thought we were just going along the edge of Yovance. No, we're going dead through the center.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The edge would not bring you up high enough to get to where you're going. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Did we decide on our disguise, guys? Like our cover? I thought it was that. What's his face was a historian. He wanted to make his fame by being a poet or documenting or making poetry of the coronation.
Oh man, I want Viggo poetry.
Yeah.
I want Viggo poetry. It's very haiku-esque.
Okay, so our cover in Paradel was that, because that's a very reasonable reason to be in Paradel. We don't really have a cover in Yovance other than
that can be cover, can't it?
No, we don't want to.
We don't want to say we're going to Paradel. Well,
we're going to Paradel to document something as historian. Like, who's going to hate historians? I'll tell you who's going to hate historians.
Actually, that's
people that end up with my lance through their chest.
Scott, would it be normal for someone to travel
like
from Yovance to Paradel for
a person of culture, of
art? My clothes are very wet. My clothes are very wet. Cast prestidigitation. I am dry. Bam! Bam! Haiku!
He spent that entire time trying to think of a haiku instead of listening to you. That's he literally spent every moment that we were talking thinking of a haiku.
Please can we clip that? I'd like that.
Please clip that.
I mean, I quite enjoyed the haiku itself, but
it's just the fact that he spent the entire time. I was wondering what he was doing because he looked focused, but I couldn't figure out what he was doing.
So I was counting syllables for prestidigitation. Oh, sorry. B-Sword, you use that one with your hubby. Oh, he'll like it.
Now, Scott.
Yes, sorry.
Would it be normal for someone like a historian to be traveling from Yovance to Paradel?
I mean,
we're at war with them, so
so that's what I'm thinking.
No, but war between two nations doesn't necessarily mean that no people cross borders, right? Like, it doesn't mean that every individual person, but that does mean that there is chance for, I mean, if you look at like actual history of the world, right? Like, just because two nations are at war didn't mean that individuals or companies weren't continuing to trade between them. That's actually how a lot of spy networks were able to get information through the area and whatnot. But that also doesn't mean that, like, the nation that you're going into, the foreign nation for you, won't necessarily randomly detain you for as long as they want, because potentially they could use it as ransom, or maybe they think you're a spy.
Yeah, we're not saying we're from Paradel.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So where are you saying that you're from?
I guess we could say we're from anywhere. The obvious choice would be Ascaria.
Yeah. I mean,
because why else? Well, I mean, this is me as a character knowing more than my character, though.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think you guys come off as very Ascarian. Tristan does not come off as Ascarian.
Are you kidding me? Of course he comes up as Ascarian. You know, all these rich people.
You what, mate?
They think you think a rich person's going to punch someone when they annoy. Like, They're gonna be like, Tristan,
Punch
hit
him.
him. There is a demand for this sort of work.
muscle.
Like, Tristan, my husband is out of order. If you could please throw my glass of wine in his face.
Strike him.
Sorry,
gently.
sir.
Yes, man.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, we could very much be the high-end muscle to Viggo.
I don't think we should go as a historian in Uvance.
I mean, you're a
It's
poet.
easier to go as.
Hedonism.
It's easier to go as like traveling alchemist, even offering services through like we're on our way to somewhere, or
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would we be
What's the
headed
town?
to Renislav?
Well, we
not-
don't have to
we
be.
wouldn't
There's a
say that
town.
we're,
Wait, where
you
is
know
it?
what I mean? Headed there.
Yeah, but if we're not saying we're heading to Renislav, right? There's gonna come a point where in the northern towns, there's gonna come a
There's
point.
one town that's literally right next to the border.
Yeah, sure. But there's gonna come a point where we're gonna be like, our cover no longer covers us. If we lie. Like that. Like if we lie about the destination.
we need to worry about more, I'd say more, like once we get to there, we could change it up a bit, but I wouldn't.
An important thing that I would want to
Name where we're
note for
going.
you guys is,
Because
and this is kind of
these-
being brought up by Steve, is if you're talking
Yeah.
about Tasian being a language, sure, but it's also just like not just speaking a language, but how proficient you are in it, whether you have an accent. You can imagine that, say, Viggo, with his upbringing, being in universities and being wealthy and so on and so forth, he could actually properly speak multiple languages with little to no accent in those languages because he was trained them at a young age and consistently. Whereas your characters may be multilingual, but you've got a
No, he's not.
I could speak Tasian just fine.
He speaks pen.
Galen would be able to speak Tasian perfectly fine without an
because
accent.
Tasian is your native language.
Yeah.
You grew up in Malta. So that does mean, however, you have a Maltese accent. Though you have been in
still
Paradel for like a year and a half or whatever, it may have bled down a little bit, but you still have a Maltese accent, so you speak Tasian.
A little bit more technically.
What do you mean?
A little bit more time technically. Timey-wimey fuckery.
Oh, gotcha. That's right. That's right. But anyways,
Yeah, so it'd be sort of a weird mix. But I guess he wouldn't have been speaking Tasian then. So would it? I don't know how enough about languages and accents, if that would affect your original language with an accent.
well, again,
Either way-
you would not have. You would not really have that much of an accent. You'd have a regional accent for like over there, so we have the Maltese version. But you speak Tasian perfectly clearly. Viggo also speaks Tasian perfectly clearly. His accent, however, because of his upschooling being proper, is probably not a Malta. It's probably literally like Tasian Dale accented Tasian. It's like one of those things where like if you go to school to like around here, you go to school for Spanish. They don't teach you Mexican Spanish. They teach you Spain Spanish, which nobody speaks. So.
I just realized this is actually perfect. If I have a Maltese-esque accent onto my Tasian and I'm wearing a mage cloak, that'll fit just fine if I was hired by him to help protect him as for all they know a mage, because for all the crystals are a spell as far as they know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about specifically Tasian Dale is a Wait, you saying a Maltese? Did you say?
Well, I have a Maltese accent. On my Tasian.
Okay, gotcha. I understand what you're saying. Oh, cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, the only
I'm
downside to that
Maltese.
is you're wearing an Arcane Congress cloak, and they're anti-Arcane Congress. Just that kind of conflicts with the story you were trying to build off of. But that doesn't matter too
okay,
much.
right. I guess
Not everybody's going to be that discerning. You know what I mean? Like, you have to come across somebody who actually understands that stuff to whether or not they'd be discerning about it, you know? Like, certainly that would not pass by Norway. He would notice it. The Paladin is ever vigilant.
if I happen to come across someone of the Arcane Congress, they might know.
Oh,
But otherwise,
Yeah.
otherwise someone else might not.
I'm just thinking because of the direction we're coming from, south to north, And what is in the northern direct? Like, what else can we say we're headed that way for, or the purpose of our troop?
we can just say that we're heading to whatever one of those border towns are until we get to a border town. You know what I mean? And then it's
we can say we're heading
over the border.
to that town.
Sure,
which
but
can't read the name
I
of
don't
'cause
think
it's
like
Tibetan.
Yvonce and Paradel are not in like they're in conflict, right? But they're not in open war because Yvonce can't muster an open war. Like,
well, Yvonce and
No,
Paradel are in. It's a
They-
constant moving border, but that's
Yeah.
up by
It is a open
Jovincia,
war.
not down by Bard or Sahora. It's barely open war down by Bard and Sahora.
like it's a lot of guerrilla warfare, correct?
Up north, it's open war. Up by Jovancia.
Sustained a lot by Amalte's intervention.
We're heading towards the open war area, so
The MLTs have caused because of the goings on in the Thronekeeper campaign that we did. There's a second war front going on against Amalta. Amalta was an ally of Yovance, but due to the actions of Doxy and Will and Josh, they are now kind of like embedded a dagger deep into the back of their ally.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
And they're now fighting against the Maltese war as well.
So Thronekeeper fuck up.
No,
to be
yes
fair,
and no.
Yvonce is the nicest place, so I'm okay with them being fucked.
Yeah, yes and no. It was kind of like more or less there's an area there where a bunch of like the freed slaves are like, we want to have freedom, not become a Maltese, but we want freedom. So they're more or less making their own like little freedom spot for themselves. Yeah. So that's kind of like what that's happening there.
So they're trying to make their own little nation there.
Yeah, and it's being backboned by Amalta. Like Amalta is like supporting this idea, and then more than that, Vigil. They left Vigil. The Vigilites left Vigil, and they've actually head over there to make a new home.
Oh shit!
Because they're like,
How
well,
the fuck did they get through
So
Paradel?
Amalta is now lawful
Well, they
good,
could blend
yet
in.
dead.
they can blend
I
in.
guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
boy.
one hell of an exodus.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a small number of people. It was over 1,000 people, right? I don't remember the exact number, but it's over 1,000 people. Let's say upwards 2,000. Most of them that survived everything that transpired. This is I don't know if you remember what happened, but some rough stuff happened.
Oh, it was a lot.
But they all went west to help with that. So, I mean, realistically, you guys could just say you're heading up north to either you're a poet, maybe you have a meeting in Renetslav. You don't necessarily have to be here on behalf of a nation, right?
No. That we
just
would
be a
be
trader.
entirely freelance, but
I mean, you are a trader. Oh, trader.
No, so we want to be careful because we do need to still get across the border, and the people at the border won't know
you could
what
be
our mission
you could be
is.
selling filters of love, like little blue puffs and stuff like that, you know. And I suppose the Coronation is not a terrible place to sell. Yeah, I mean, let's just YOLO it. Let's YOLO it up. Like Triss wouldn't think about any of this. This is all on Viggo. He'll just follow Viggo's lead.
It's a trader. It is.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually make stuff to sell, can't you?
I can, yeah, but you know,
Oh, I know, but like having
takes a
a
long time.
little stock to be like,
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
what-
I do have potions with me. That's why I was thinking. Once we
Yeah.
get past the capital, it'll be like I was in whatever the capital was trading, and now I'm
Yeah,
going
I mean, and
back
we're
to
all
wherever.
bedecked in potions, as one might expect of hired arms of a
that actually makes sense as well.
alchemist,
Yeah.
Like we're actually kind of covered in.
We really are. We both have the quick arm strap and the belt filled
Yeah.
with potions, so that makes sense.
God, where is there? Do I have any knowledge through my schooling of any other schools that teach alchemy that are not in Paradel? That might be in Taziendale or even one of the other nations.
I love the idea that if all those slots are actually filled with potions, you guys just fill them with like juice. Just like put like an orange juice, like grape juice or something inside them, just to make it look like.
You kidding me? Orange juice is more expensive than potions. No way am I wasting that in my potion pile.
To answer your question, I'm sorry. So obviously Bard, which is what you had already mentioned, is going to be where you're going to have some of the greatest schools. But yeah, Tazian Dale is fully has a huge relationship with the Arcane Congress. I don't know if you remember Josh's session 0, but like part of the way that stuff kind of played out was Tazian Dale had a relationship with Arcane Congress. Then they like made a mistake and like turned their back on the Arcane Congress, and then they were like, "Yeah, sorry, let's tell you where the Sill are." Yeah. And that was like part of Josh's session 0 for Thronekeeper. So they actually do have schools for things like alchemy and magic and whatnot inside of Tazian Dale. Absolutely, yes. Inside of Malta does things a bit different. I mean, they of course would have alchemy and whatnot, but it's, again, their magics work so fundamentally different from how you do things in with the Arcane Congress that it wouldn't necessarily make sense for you to go there, because they wouldn't necessarily want to share secrets with people outside of their own nation. They have a lot of very, very strong national pride, and the average citizen is not going to be like, let me hand over this shit. Though of course you can imagine there's a typical dirtbag who's willing to sell out national secrets for monies. So
Yvonne's the place you go to sell shit. So
I'm thinking of one of the schools in Tazian Dale. I'll just keep that on the back burner.
Sure. Let's see. Let's name a Tazian school. Steve, you want to name a Tazian school? And in the meanwhile, so you are, I just want to clear this up because Brittany came in the room and was doing something weird. So I was watching her. How are you doing? So, you were, you're going to be an alchemist that's traveling to the school for.
No, I'm just going to be a trader.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Gotcha.
That's our cover.
You're a trader.
But if I was to be if I was to be questioned, I didn't go to school in Paradale. I went to school in Tazian Dale, or something like that. That's why I said we like being where I went to school. They probably know of other schools, you know what I mean, that teach same type of stuff, and yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Cool. And then for the my apologies. Are you utilizing real names, or are we coming up with aliases?
No, we're not using real names. Neil is given the name Bluey.
Bingo.
Tesh
Give Tesh Bingo.
You want Tesh to be Bingo? Okay.
No, or Tesh could be Bandit.
And I'll let either one of them pick one.
Chili. Give him Chili.
Viggo says this on the ship. He's like, we can't use our real names. We'll point to.
Let's call him Magpie.
Tristan.
Explicitly an Australian magpie, because they're assholes.
Magpie's actually a name too, isn't it? But it's usually a woman's name. Is it Magpie actually?
Heard it as a real name.
I've never heard of anyone being called Magpie.
He's thinking of Maggie. He's like,
yeah. But I mean, do those names sound a little too
sus?
Yeah.
Well, you guys kind of look like bandits, so.
Wow.
We're hired mercenaries, so that's fair. Having weird names is perfectly fine with that situation.
That was my thinking.
What was my name again? Bandit?
Yeah, because you were a former bandit.
Yeah, Bandit's actually his surname, though. His first name's Ass.
I love how long that took Jake to get. There was like a pause and then
You should have named it. Steve came up for you.
Karaman's Herbalist and Alchemical, or something like that.
Okay.
Herbalist and Alchemical Academy. Very nice.
Except
Let's go.
Except
Let's
the
go.
H is silent. It's
I
herbalist.
want to go. I want someone to discover us, and then I want to run them down.
Oh. Okay. So anyways,
I want that, not Triss.
You guys are able to make your way all the way to the border town that's down there. So there's going to be one more important detail you have to take care of. once you get to the actual what the hell is it called, the nation there, if you're utilizing fake names, so on and so forth, if you're going to be traveling through this area as foreigners, you're going to want to have some degree of documentation traveling through, just to make sure you can prove who you are. Why do you think that this is important in Yovance?
Because slave trade.
Yeah.
You don't belong to yourself, you might belong to somebody else. So,
so they can surely they can provide us with documentation at the border.
So you can get your hands on documentation that's there. A lot of the credentials, a lot of the stuff that you have is going to be the information that you would have from beforehand coming over. So if you want to have multiple aliases, you're going to have to find somebody who's willing to provide for you forged documents to be able to have a secondary alias. So as you're talking about,
is corrupt as all hell. That'll be easy, right?
You can imagine going into any major port city, you could find somebody who's willing to do forged documents. The question is, can you find somebody that can make forged documents, right? So anyways, yeah. That's okay. You guys are pretty good at certain skills.
They should have brought this up when they knew we were going here.
No, so you would definitely have documentation of who you are, so you can get that covered, absolutely no problem. But getting properly forged Yovance documents, that's not something you necessarily want to be traveling across the ocean with beforehand anyways, right? You're going to want to make sure that it is locally done because it's more convincing. So going into the port there, just immediately walking in, nobody stops you, nothing strange or anything like that. Just more or less getting like a basic documentation saying that, Viggo, Galen, and Tristan have come into the city. That's here's paperwork for travel, so on and so forth. You're of course free citizens from another state, from Paradel. All that stuff is easy to get your hands on, and also easy to hide. It's just some basic paperwork you got to roll up and tuck away somewhere, right? Awesome. As for getting your hands on that forged documents, we'll go over that as soon as I describe the city. Going into the city, it is densely packed. It is very densely packed. An important thing to note about the architecture of the of Yovance, it's genuinely beautiful architecture. It has this kind of like Roman feel to it, where it has this like just like the way that the stones are very well hewn, how well they're stacked, just like the design to everything there. It has like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's not like somebody just built a whole bunch of buildings because they're like, oh, I want to put a building here, and they made it, right? Like it clearly has an office that handles like the architecture and the engineering and the design and whatnot of the streets and the buildings that are going to go there. It clearly has offices that handle the responsibility of following certain like regulations and whatnot, designs and whatnot, because everything has like a degree of uniformity to it that makes it genuinely beautiful to notice as you're pulling in to the harbor, which is massive and also well designed and also has accoutrements, like designs to it that make it stand out. Like you have large etchings put into like the this part of the harbor over here. You have like beautiful archways that like welcome you. You can see that the warehouses are separated off from like where basic travel would be. Like everything has like a very clean design to it. But as you're going into the city itself, you see how clean it's all set up. Wonderful. You can see the cobblestone streets that are here. And the whole thing is cobblestone. It's set in very, very well designed. Wonderful. However, it is so densely packed because for every citizen that you can imagine that comes through here, which would be densely packed anyways, being a port city going to the great beyond, right? For every, and mind you, this is the port that leads up into the capital of the nation. So you can imagine the amount of commerce that comes through here, the amount of like travel that comes through here. For every person that might come through as a free citizen, there are easily 3, if not up to 5 slaves that happen to be in the city as well. So it is very, very, very densely packed with people. And there's a clear line between the different classes of people that exist here, right? Now, it's not like there's like a many structured class process. You have the overwhelmingly large slave class, right? Was they're dressed in very, very simple clothes. It's not that they're dressed in ratty clothes or they walk around with like bruises or like scars or anything like that over them, because you don't necessarily have to be overtly abusive to the people that you happen to own. But they're just in very, very, very simple clothes. And there's a different type of colorations of the clothing that they're wearing, but that is more symbolic of, Jake, you would know this from the research you did in your trick over, that's more symbolic of which major family that they might happen to belong to, whereas the even more simple clothes, like the basic like uncolored clothes, so if it just happens to be like almost like a burlap style clothing with just the basic brown that burlap is, that's like, okay, that doesn't belong to any particular family, versus like if it's white or a tan or like an off red or something like that, would symbolize maybe who they belong to of prominence. Moving on. You'd have, that's going to be the overwhelming majority of the people that's here. You'd also have what would be the mercantile style of clothes that's here. And this is going to be, of course, the colors that you're looking to, the style that you're looking to get your hands on. Mercantile clothing, because merchants tend to be on the road a lot. They tend to dress in multiple layers. So like the outermost thing that they would have is almost, you can imagine, like a rider's cloak. So that's going to be able to absorb most of the dust or the dirt or whatever it is as you're traveling. They more often than not wear a type of like travel boots or rider's boots to again take a lot of the dirt. But then like the clothing underneath it is like a semi-fine clothing. It's like semi-fancy. It's like a cheaper version of what like the next cast up would wear. But you could imagine a bit of dirt gets on it because they spend so much time on the road, right? More or less, as they get off the road, they take off the cloak, they switch their boots, and that's it. Versus like say somebody who's going to be of the next class up will just get changed because they have enough of the type of clothing and whatnot to pull off doing so. You also know that the merchants area, like that kind of design, is the last one where, sure, people may be using soaps or whatnot, and the soaps may have a fragrance like we have in the modern day, right? But usually won't. But you're not using fragrances, you're not really using oils, you're not really using anything like that. The next class up, which is the nobility class, to be clear, are also merchants, but they're just the next class up in that area. This is where you go to a location in a fresh outfit. It doesn't necessarily have to be a new outfit, but it's freshly laundered and prepared. You're wearing fragrances, oils. Your clothing is going to be much more pristine. The lines are much cleaner. It's going to be adorned with some amount of, say, like finery to it. Maybe it has some gems on it or whatever, but things that aren't too crazy expensive. But definitely, like, this is the person that these are the people that you have to generally be most aware of, like have to be most worried about, because these are the people that are the haves, so clearly are willing to openly lord themselves over the have-nots, but are also at the bottom of the haves tier, right? So the people that are looking to, that are always staring upwards with like envy, that are always looking to claw and do what they need to get to that step above where they are. These are the concerned people, right?
The desperate people.
Yeah, it's desperation and luxury and you know what I'm saying? And luxury. That's how I'm trying to pronounce it. And luxury. Desperation and luxury. So anyways, these are the tier of people that you would genuinely have to be aware of. An important thing to note, you are not going to be this tier. For you to pretend to be this tier would be concerning, because these are people that live in Yovance, right? So by people that live in Yovance, they're going to have large holdings here, large things, a great number of people beneath them, et cetera, et cetera. The tier above that one are ones that you may see on the streets, but you may not approach. These are going to be like your very high tier merchants that they, generally speaking, those other merchants that I talked about, they actually usually just work for them either directly or indirectly. So I mentioned like the clothing style that you're going to have, that might also be in the same coloration, like those off reds or whatever it might be, akin to that family. Like you actually just work under them, or you could just be a small little, like yourself, traveling merchant from outside of, right? So those high tier merchants, they own, generally speaking, whole networks. So it's like, oh, well, if you're looking to get your hands on properly made weapons, yeah, those are probably belong to this family. Like almost any weapon you get your hands on throughout an entire region of Yovance, most likely is going to one degree or another belong to that family. Oh, you like to get your hands on horses, and you get the point, moving on. The last tier above that, which is like the royalty, if you will, are also merchants. But these are people that they are so high up in the mercantile tier, they don't actually own any individual trade. It's almost like they own the stock market, right? They own like the trade above the trade. They own like what it is that kind of like handles the actual exchange of commerce between everybody. That's the kind of thing that you don't even see those people. You are welcome to galas or anything like that has those people involved, so on and so forth. For all intents and purposes, those are royalty. You don't see them. Right? The queen's not coming out to give her a Thanksgiving Day speech or whatever it is that she does in her green dress. So you don't encounter them. Coming into the city, obviously you have paperwork saying that you're from Paradel. You have paperwork saying your proper names and whatnot. But for you to maintain this ruse, you're going to want to be able to have false documentations to travel through here with a very little issue. I imagine you're trying to say that you're a merchant from, I believe you said Tazian Dale, or at least from and to Tazian Dale, correct? So you're going to try to get your hands on somebody who's willing to get those forged documents for you that aren't willing to that are willing to do this work without asking you too many questions. Mm-hmm. To go about trying to find somebody like this, gather information is just a diplomacy check. However, to try to gather information without people asking you too many questions, with leaving a very small footprint, if you will, is going to be a diplomacy check with a -10 added to it. So the question is, who is going to make this diplomacy check?
Is there any way I can help by being observant and looking for the sort of people we want to be sort of heading over to talk to, that sort of thing?
Could you ask that one more time, sir?
I want to assist using perception as my assist to like try and to keep my eye out for the sorts of places and people that we want to be talking to about this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're trying to do this as a skill challenge.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Okay, it's honestly not where I was going with this, but I appreciate what you're asking. Okay, let's do this as a skill challenge, boys.
Oh no, have I made this worse?
Yeah. No, but it's cool because with a skill challenge, it's different. Remember, when it's one-sided versus contested. When it's one-sided, you're right? So it's specifically a DC that you're going against, and more or less, if you don't hit your success in a certain time limit, things go sideways. More or less, you've asked too many questions, and it's too many wrong areas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what you're saying is you would like to use perception to find locations by visually searching, not by asking questions where you think a shady mother fluffer might be. Brittany made me coffee. I really, really do think that they should put Brittany's in stores everywhere. So we should mass produce you and just, you know what I mean? Like, that's now, and you can get your Brittany with with a free Scott. Ooh. Do you guys all want to?
Nah, ruins it.
It comes with a badge that says "Welcome to the Scooter Squad."
I like the idea. It's like, can you go put the washing in the washing machine, please? And your child's like, I don't want to go down in the basement, Dad. That's where Scott is. like they open the door and he's just like, D20. Oh, that's
awesome.
So I basically just want to get Viggo to the right people, sort of thing, because I assume
that's
Viggo
all right. That's good. Skill challenge. All right, you find the people. I'll talk to him, and Neil can beat them up if they're not doing the right. Like you know.
Literally, I got good intimate.
Yeah, that works.
So wow, I horribly slaughtered that. I wasn't even looking at the word as I wrote it. I just like typed it without even looking at the screen. So you guys, so you want to make a perception check to find a location. I am fine with you doing that. This isn't easy, however, because well, hold on. It depends on how. I'm going to set the DC for you at a 15. Because while it's easy to find shady places, you don't understand the culture here. You don't understand, like, sure, that place may look shady, but you don't know, like, if that's where everybody hangs out. You know what I mean? So you're more or less just looking for that place looks like there's some sketchy mofos there. You know what I mean? Which is honestly, that's a little rude. Just walk in and judge a culture that you don't know. Which is why you just barely pass.
I'll note I just barely passed with a 5. I rolled a 5.
So you are able to kind of like look around and see what this is. What is your rankage and whatnot inside of perception?
My rankage is I have 4 ranks in perception.
Gotcha. So the 4 ranks in perception, so it's trained. So that means you're rolling a D8 plus a wisdom modifier, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, which is unfortunately only +1. Ooh, that's real good though.
That's solid. He's actually able to find locations for you, Jake, that are pretty damn solid. We're talking like this is pretty good leads as to where it is that.
I just realized why this would actually be easier for Gallon. He's probably done something like this before. Probably not as busy a city, but he did come into this place trying to get out of a Malta first, then go to Paradale. So he might know what sort of sketchy shit to look out for.
There you go. There you go. Neil, how would you like to assist Jake? And sorry everybody for all the bottled water. I literally brewed coffee with bottled water. I'm drinking like lots of bottled water versus like, but as I mentioned on the other stream, there's a contamination in the tap right now. So,
yeah, actually infuriates us all that you're drinking from bottles, Scott. How dare you? It's just the bottle bit, trick. No,
I usually try to use less bottles, but
I mean we've discussed briefly. We've touched upon it. Triss is Perrin, but he's also half hobgoblin. He's 6'4". He's tall. He's big. He has a strength score of 20. He's physically imposing. And
so intimidation.
When Viggo goes to speak to people, having the big cross-armed man wearing plate armor, half plate admittedly, but nonetheless, will hopefully have them become a little bit more forthcoming.
I like the idea that Tristan's that person that when he crosses his arms, he intentionally tucks his fist under his bicep to make it look more swole. You know what I mean?
You can't do that in plate.
Or that flexi plate. All right, sir, roll me that intimidation check, please. For you, I mean, honestly, intimidation's a pretty basic one.
No.
Would you like to luck die that? I was going to tell you, I was going to set the DC for you. It's not as hard as it is for him. I was going to set it at 13.
I probably ought to luck it, right?
Yep.
I mean, a 19.
Rip.
Are there any other modifiers that you might be forgetting on a character sheet? I'd suggest spending about 30 seconds to look real quick. And while Jake is probably getting ready to roll his diplomacy check.
I'm just going to refill my drink, so I'll be right back real quick.
Oh my god, this coffee is so good right now.
That was what was reminding me. I need to refill my drink.
Oh my god. How do you guys understand? It was rough waking up earlier. I'm in heaven. Oh my god. So good. So while he's looking, fun thing, Brittany told me while she was on vacation that I'm definitely going to help you with uploading to YouTube. It's definitely happening. We're going to come back from vacation. You're definitely going to teach me. No questions. That is going to happen. We came back and we were home for like a day and 3/4 and didn't go over it. But she's like, that's okay, because you're definitely going to take care of this Tuesday. Don't you worry about it. Tuesday, you're going to teach me how to do it. I'm going to start doing this for you. I might need some help during the beginning part, but I'm going to take over. I come home from work a little bit late on Tuesday, but she's actually across the street with like a neighbor, because they have young kids too. It's like hanging out with the neighbor across the street because like everybody's vaxxed or whatever. And so they're like coming back over. So the neighbor ends up hanging out over here for like another hour or so. And then like now it's getting late and we still have to eat and it's already super late. So then we eat dinner and then I'm like, I got to go to bed because I have to get up in the morning. So maybe one day. Maybe one day. Cavalier orders. So nothing, Neil?
There might be something. Give me order of the. I may have just.
And Jake, is there anything that you need to look over or anything you need to prep? So when I tell you to roll, you're good to go. You're back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a drink of wine. And, I'm gonna increase my intelligence. Thanks.
You're gonna get drunk before you go and try to do illegal activity.
It
calms the nerves. It calms the nerves. I got
exactly.
I gotcha. Before I do illegal shit, I like to drink coffee.
Why have I put this here? I've got written down in my Cavalier add half bonus on intimidate checks and ride checks. But why is that? Why is that?
And we wait. I like the idea that your whatever Numbra ability that you have, Jake, that more or less you use to hallucinate. I like the idea of utilizing Pathfinder's rules of item creation because it counts as a 0-level spell, to create that as a charged item. It's like a magic wand with 50 charges. But because you're an alchemist, not a mage, what you end up doing is you make like a thin like little potion vial that has that like inside of it that's like attached to like a stick, almost like a wand. And then because potions you generally like ingest, you actually just kind of like use that mixed with the magic item of the vaporizer to more or less make like a vape pen that you like, and like you get a little high for about an hour. And that'd be like a really cool item to invest. I think there's a market for it. You know, it's got like 50 hits before. Hi, Chloe.
What's this?
Chloe, we were yelling at him for you, Chloe. You tell her.
Apparently, Scott says he was yelling at me for you.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
I said I said that Lucy is effectively sister-in-law, and he said I'm not allowed to say that until we're married. It's sacred. Scott's remember, like he's from America, so they're really conservative, sort of Christian religious values. Yeah, she's like, I don't care. Bye. She didn't say that.
Yeah, she gave that look like you're wasting time with my sister.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that was the gist of it. So as because half hobs are like a sort of thing that we've made for this, I add a half bonus on intimidate checks and ride checks. As my racial bonus.
Wait, is that built into your?
So for each level, you either take the hit point and whatever it is, skill point, or you get half the bonus on intimidate checks and ride checks.
Yes.
And that's what we went with. So actually that is with the luck 13, because I have, if you look, I've got a +7 there, which is 7 + 1. I've just updated with the +2, and then I'm double checking her ride because I get other stuff on ride.
Oh, because it was never properly updated.
Because I hadn't updated it because I leveled quickly on stream.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And I see you clearly. Like I would just click on configuration for you, and you did not do any of the other ways. Yeah. No, I see that. Oh, hey Joey, you out there, Joey? Joey, you out there, Joey?
He was up like 2 hours before you guys. He's probably gone to bed.
If Joey's not there, we're good. I'll say sure, +1 modifier, you're good to go. If Joey's there, he's gonna say, "This is bullshit. You need wrong modifier. You need to re-roll." But if Joey's not here, we're clear.
Sorry about that. I just
But watch out. I think I feel the heat of Paladin Green. Being like, this is, what is it? Uneven application of the law. You go straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Go, carry on.
All right, cool. So is that definitive? You actually, because I saw that you rolled with a +7, and I see that it now that you're level 4, you just updated it to +. Yeah,
and now
I actually see all that.
Yeah, I just need to double check the.
So since you actually lucked it and got it, could you go ahead and roll me a 1d8 plus whatever modifier that is? Charisma,
plus
probably.
My ranks.
No.
Plus my modifier.
Plus the attribute modifier for the skill that you chose to use. So charisma.
Plus charisma. Okay. I'm rolling excellently today.
Good over law if possible. Oh, Norway's claiming that he's lawful good, but we all know he's lawful good. So
he's lawful.
Yeah. All right. So anyways, yep. So you are, I didn't see what you rolled there. Well, you guys got to a 10. Jake, it's now your turn after Neil wasted 10 minutes for his. I imagine your character is going to be doing the diplomacy check. Now, when you roll this diplomacy check, because of the fact that you're trying to be discreet, why don't you go ahead and roll this diplomacy check with a -10 modifier for the discretion, unless you don't care about discretion because you're just going to leave the city anyways. It's up to you.
I do care about discretion. Can I have had this conversation within half an hour?
Huh?
I want to use one of my cognitions.
So I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but okay. So the way that this works is that you're not talking to one person. You're actually going around and talking to many people and trying to figure things out. Mm-hmm. And a GI check actually takes a period of time that's rolled on a die. So give me 1 second. So this is going to be Pathfinder diplomacy, and then we go to the gather information portion. Okay, click. Damn thing. The gather information portion of this, which is right here. I don't even write. It's literally the first thing. It takes 1d4 hours to accomplish that. So the DC is usually a 20 or higher for what it is that you're looking for. So why don't you go ahead and roll me a d4, or ask somebody in chat to roll a d4. Oh, hello, Shaggy. It wasn't me.
I don't have chat open right now, so if whoever's there.
All right, Shaggy, you want to roll a d4 real quick? Thanks. Look at that. 500 bits for a d4. That's how we play around here. Oh, they rolled 4. Oh, great job. 4 hours.
All right, well, I have no modifiers then. This is not going to be a great roll.
Rip.
Oh, no. Steve, we could agree that his character might be good, lawful. I'm talking about Norwegian Green the man. So you are... Why were you the one doing the diplomacy check?
That's with a -10.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, you took the -10. That's a rough roll there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, -10. God, why did you have the -10?
Discretion.
Yeah.
Oh, shite.
Yeah. It's rough. So, unfortunately, after...
Would the intimidate not offset the need for discretion?
So it's working towards you guys are working kind of like in different ways here to get this accomplished. So more or less in 4 hours of going about trying to find this information, of being here on the docks, to spend less than an hour kind of getting your bearings and being like, all right, let's do this. You immediately jump into kind of like walking about and trying to figure this out. You spend 4 hours doing so and are not successful. So immediately afterwards, you're being like, this wasn't working out so well. And then you kind of like realizing, maybe we shouldn't stick around here too much longer. You can either continue looking about in the city, maybe a different part of the city, maybe screw it, let's double down and try to finish up where it is that we started, that here, working off the successes we've already had. Or you could just say, let's leave the city. You know what I mean? Like it's up to you.
The only option I have is to disguise self and try again.
Sure. I mean, that's an option. Absolutely. Kind of go in there as a different person entirely. That's not a bad thing at all.
Hello, sir. I understand you spoke to a rather rude prick about a certain topic earlier. Wasn't he a dick? Now, if you would just be dear and tell me.
Yes. My name is.
Oh my god!
The most amusing thing is that we all have mustaches.
I know. My name is Viggo. I come in off the seas.
So, Rainbow Six Siege at the moment is having a whole event with infected members. There's one of the people they've converted into like in zombie infected thing has a mustache normally, like a very prominent mustache. So the infected thing has an like infection mutation thing in the shape of the mustache, and it's the funniest thing because they tried to make them look vaguely like the characters they were. So it just looks like this giant, like you had the fake mustache done, but with like the weird mutation zombie stuff. It's very weird. Reaches that sort of like comic value thing instead of being the sort of creepy it was meant to be. What the fuck?
To be clear, we have a rule here. That shit flies for one joke, but this ain't regicide. You can't sit there with this on. That goes off now. Norway won't stand for this shit.
That worked perfectly with the background because it actually looked like a graphic novel. So, anyways, all right, funny, Tesh, and back to you guys. So, Viggo, you want to disguise self and more or less say I'm using a special power in the skill challenge to more or less re-roll, but by spending more hours.
Yeah.
How long does your disguise self last?
Well, I can cast it multiple times.
That's not the question.
40 minutes.
Ooh. Hey, Steve, you want to go ahead and roll me a D4, please?
I'm just saying, I know how long my things last, so I will be leaving if it looks like it's about to not.
Your character is literally a genius. To be clear, with a 20 intelligence, your character is we're talking about like an actual genius. Not like, oh no, he's a really smart guy. No, a 20 intelligence is amongst the smartest humans that have ever existed in all of human history. Like, so let's not mince words here. So yes, you could easily keep track of that sort of a thing because that's not only is your character genius, that is literally the kind of stuff his mind is bent towards. That's his his focus. Wow, 4 hours. How many times can you cast that spell, sir? Because that's 6 castings you would have to do. Right?
God damn it, Steve.
Six, because 60 times 4 is 240 divided by 40 is 6 castings, right?
Well,
Uh-oh.
seeing as it's a new day, I can cast it 5 times.
Ooh.
And
oh no.
then I can cast a second level potion, cast a second level spell, and cast it, and then drink a potion of it.
Wait, what?
Look, I can get the 6 castings, is what I'm saying.
No. Hold up. Because in Pathfinder, generally speaking, you cannot say, "Oh, I ran out of first level spells, but I'll cast Magic Missile as a second level," unless you attack on a meta magic.
No.
Right.
I'll help you understand here, right?
Okay. Please.
Okay, so I'll cast the 5 level 1 extracts, right?
Correct.
So
Stupid. Understand.
then I will do this and drink a potion of that, and then spit the potion back into its.
Foolish Scott. How dare he doubt?
Do you have a potion on hand?
Yep.
So you have 5 castings and you have a potion, so you're not actually wasting the potion. That's good. That's good. Yep. Jake, I won't lie.
I'm tapped for the day after this, boys.
That's literally, that is everything. I won't lie. You completely circumvent. kudos. That's why you're a hero, right? That's awesome. you get to try again. Now here's the thing, because you're going as a disguise, you're not going as you, right? You're going as the disguise. Do you want to use discretion this time around as well? Or are you saying
won't be
fuck it?
because I'm not going to be the same person.
Wow. All right, cool. Awesome.
Nice.
So you know the DC,
Nice.
you know it's at least a 20, right? So it's a high DC. You have, of course, your regular modifier. Are there any other things that you can do to make sure that over this 4-hour period, you have the appropriate benefits you need to pull this off?
Not over 4 hours, no.
Okay, so there's nothing you can do to enhance it. These boys have already done their task. You're on your own. You have your plus 12 modifier. You need to roll at least an 8 or higher. And I don't know if you guys got luck. Hold on, let me check the pool. All right. Well, just because the last one that was used has 0 dice left in the pool. So, all right.
Yeah,
Why don't you roll me that
unfortunately, I
check?
don't think I have anything I can do to help.
Yeah, I do not have this. nothing
Don't
I
drag
can
your
do
feet
with
waiting
this
for a
spell.
luck to be thrown in the pool. You click that button right now, sir. He's like, where's my Winifred's?
I don't have a Winifred in this game, do I?
You roll that die.
I
Stop
have an
trying to be.
undetermined limit breaker. An undetermined limit breaker.
You know what's funny is I might actually end up
just roll
doing
a 20.
an out of combat limit breaker option for you guys, just so you guys can actually use those abilities without it just constantly sitting there being stagnant. You know what I mean?
Just roll a 20, Jake. Easy. See? Smashed it.
He did not smash it. He is on the cusp right there. The question is, Jake. The question is, did you actually ever get luck in the interim?
Probably not. If you're, I mean, I'm gonna press it, but if you're telling me, then
He just
there's
wants to watch
probably
you
no.
suffer.
I
Yeah.
just want to watch you suffer, Jake. That's all I want.
Hang on a sec.
You think I'm adding anything? You think the fact that V-Sword just added some here? You think I'm willing to?
Thank you to people adding luck.
Yeah, it was actually green was the first one, so that was one that
Yeah,
came from green.
chat's got our back, really. We should never doubt.
This is the
a
good
little-
campaign, right?
Yeah,
Was
our
it-
little
Gyarados,
flumps. We
the
are
good guy?
legitimately the goodest campaign.
Which
Unfortunately, you guys are the most
Which
good.
is not like, which is
not
not like a
low, it's
super
like
high,
a high
like,
bar.
oh yeah, no, we're definitely better than the other campaigns. Wait, you mean the guy who like burnt children? Yeah. Wait, you mean the guy who sold souls to the devils? Yeah. Wait, you mean the lady who enslaved her friends using a boon from devils? Yeah.
Guys, what
Yeah,
about
you
Monday
look-
night? What about Warmonger? You mean instead of the one that eats people and just slaughters, just for the sake of gaining land and? Anyways,
Yeah.
Well, we've
No way,
got
Chris.
Simping Cell on Mondays, so
oh, don't be mean to Sel. Actually, it's funny too because like that was just funny how it played out. How Nick and
I love Sel.
Jake were actually having a conversation. Nick's like, okay. I know my general personality is to be very aggressive and mean. He's like, I don't mean any of the words. It's just how I joke around with people. I will try to turn a new leaf and I will try to be nice. I will try not to be an asshole because if you don't know me, that can be difficult to understand. I will try to be nice. Cell comes in. He tosses Cell a compliment. First thing he says to Cell, he hops on the call. Cell immediately insults him twice. And Nick's like, okay, well then. And then like later on, like a couple hours later, the call, Cell's like, well, you can't beat a dog for like months on end. And then you go to hand it a treat and it bites you and you're surprised that it tried to bite you. You know, like.
that
then, like, in this
really
scenario,
good. Cell
you
come in swinging from the beginning on Monday night, which was a good turnaround from Cell.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so funny.
Fair play,
He's
Cell.
sick
But
of
I'm like,
taking,
so-
and he started giving.
I'm like, so in this scenario, you just place yourself as being the animal, like almost like you've accepted I am Gimp. So either way, it was just a really, really funny exchange to witness. So
Wait, so just to confirm, you're buying Cell a gimp suit.
he lives in Carolina. I'm sure they're on clearance racks down there everywhere. I mean, like, what year model is it?
You
know?
guys in your states, you're so funny.
It's the Carolinas, dude. Like, I'm sorry, if you're from the Carolinas, which he's not actually from the Carolinas, he just lives down there. His parents are from elsewhere. If you're from the Carolinas, your family tree is definitely a circle. Like that's just how it goes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
I need to roll something.
So my apologies. Yeah, you already succeeded. You're going to be rolling. Oh, how many? Do you have skill focus or anything like that in this skill?
Not in diplomacy, no.
So this is just going to be your trained skill, which is the 1d8 plus charisma modifier, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
It's not charisma for me though.
Oh, is it intelligence? Okay,
Yeah.
then what? Yeah, you go ahead and you roll that, boyo. That's solid. That's like really good. That's like really good. We need to buy this man. By the way, we need to buy him a like a periapt of intelligence or something like that, or a circlet of intelligence that gives him like a skill that he needs. That's beautiful. You guys got 21 total. 8 from Tesh, 2 from Neil, and 11 from you. So yeah, going back in there the second time, like when you guys come out failing, like I you know, kind of one of those things where you can imagine your character being like, I don't know, I think we
Jake pulls out the fake, like Viggo just pulls out the fake beard and says, "I'm going back."
I really want to turn on Snap Cam and get the beard.
Viggo is clean shaven, so you'd see him drink something and then big mustache grows, like one of those really big mustaches. His face kind of morphs out a bit.
Proper.
Like the guy from Queer Eye,
Yeah.
like that does like the curl up.
Yep.
Oh my god!
And he speaks in like an even posture accent. He's like, "Okay, let's try this again."
Oh, he comes off as a Scarian,
Of course.
right? He comes off as a
Oh my
Scarian.
God, you're
Like if you're
right.
thinking about the character from Queer Eye, that man is put together. You know what I mean? And if you want to think of like somebody from Ascaria, that is like a perfect like copy and paste that man. Somebody get a screenshot of Jake and then copy and paste that man to Jake's body. Please and thank you. Okay, with Percy in the background, can we get a picture of Jake with Percy?
Oh yeah.
I forgot
think-
to bring Percy inside tonight.
Yeah, I think JVM would love
no.
love working over Jake. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I bet he would too.
He
But that
would.
man,
He'd love
like,
it.
as much as I don't like the new version of Queer Eye, that man is pristine. Like, and I mean this with all the laureates, right? Like that man is pristine. He is put together. You can imagine him being like, "What kind of brush do you use, sir? Why are you
can do
using a
better."
brush out of Walmart?" He's
You've been
like,
watching
"Allow
this.
me to
You've
assist
definitely
you."
been watching this recently because you are adopting some of his mannerisms.
Brittany actually watches Queer Eye. Again, I love the original Queer Eye. I think it was a good show. The new one, I just don't like the format. So.
I liked the first season of the new Queer Eye was really good actually. Like they had a lot of people that I felt really benefited from the help that they were offering. Like not like, wow, they look so much better. Like at the end, yes, they did end up looking better, but that was simply because it was part and parcel with making them happier, right? It was like, wow, this guy's so much happier with his life now. He's got this nice space to live in. He feels good about how he looks. He feels good about how he dresses, you know? Like, it was like, damn, that's... And then slowly they sort of, maybe they ran out a little bit of people who were quite so needing. But maybe that's my opinion. I don't know. It was very solid at the beginning. Made me cry.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a lot of people had very emotional reactions because they were also, one of the things I've always loved about the show is they don't just like give you a makeover. It's not like, welcome to Maury, makeover. And then all you do is get like eyeliner put on. They like legitimately approach your life and how it is to improve who you are as a person, which is one of the reasons why the original series and the new series is just a genuinely good show, or a genuinely good idea, I should say. The fact that it's also done for like views and money and whatnot, you know, but hey, it's better than, you know, being on the Great British Bake Off where you get $0 for them to make millions off of you. And some of those people have to go and seek psychiatric help because of how people destroy them on Twitter and whatnot afterwards, and they have no assistance on that. But you know, that's fine. So
Yeah. You know how you deal with that though.
You cry to the queen and she ignores you.
Stiff upper lip.
So
That's a joke.
it's British. Yeah, I gotcha. So I watch enough John Oliver. Anyways, back to the important stuff. So your character, I imagine, goes in there and comes off as just very Ascarian, right? Like comes off as just very, I am put together. I am like, and you get it done. Like, yes, I need this taken care of for them. And you find somebody that's willing to work with you.
I just have this image in my head of like Jake with this huge mustache and they're like squinting at him. They're like, he's like, I'm looking for someone to help with a special task, and they're like squinting at him. They're like, you want something to drink? He's like, I'll have a blah blah. And they hand him the drink, and he like holds it, and they're like, and then the pinky goes ting, and they're like, how can we help you, sir?
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
Oh my God. And it's funny too, because in my mind, I don't know if any of you guys watched Firefly, but in my mind, the character that you're interacting with is the guy with the bowler hat in like the earlier episodes of Firefly.
Yes.
So with that like awful Cockney accent and whatnot. So if you've never watched Firefly, honestly, treat yourself. I'm sorry that the last episode's disappointing, but they knew it was ending, and very abruptly. But watch Firefly, treat
The
yourself.
second to last episode is the real last episode. That's the one where they actually knew it was ending and decided to take extra time to give it a proper send-off.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So anyways, that last episode's painful, but you can see that he was trying to show off his vision there and whatnot. And
Yeah.
which is then, if you skip the last episode, then watch the movie, you're better off.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. But back to the game, because we're very limited on time because I have to get to work in an hour and 4 minutes. So I have to shower. So you go in there and you tell them the information. You get all this taken care of. That's not an issue whatsoever. So I actually had 2 DCs set in my mind for what it is they were going to work with. I actually had set it for success numbers. If you'd beat a 15, they were going to screw you over. It's going to be crazy expensive. If you'd beat a 20, which you go to 21, yay. You were going to be able to buy this stuff for a reasonable rate. So for the false documents, for all 3 of you, they're going to go for 45 gold pieces each, as opposed to me screwing you over at 75 each. For your characters to have false documents, these are legitimate documents on all the legitimate paperwork, all the legitimate seals, and you can actually see the person working before you. This isn't like they're not just forging signatures and whatnot, which they are. They're actually properly embossing the paperwork with the actual stamp and whatnot they would use. They're using the actual like physical stamps, like ink on them that you would use, the actual inks and whatnot that you would use, at least as far as you understand. You're not from Yovant, so you don't know this stuff well enough, but you can see that this looks like these are items stolen from an office versus like somebody just trying to like do it by hand, right? So these are really good quality documents, very unlikely that they would be seen through. 45 gold pieces each, which is 135 gold pieces.
Yeah, I've taken it off already.
Perfect, thank you. For your characters to be taken care of. If I remember correctly, we have Bluey, Bandit, and Magpie.
Yo, what up? Worst names ever.
And Magpie is probably like Magpie potions or something like that. Or whatever your organization is called. Doesn't matter. You fill
You want shiny? We got shiny.
your documentation, because of what it is I'm describing, how much it costs, all that stuff. It does include the fact that you are legally here trading. You are legally able to trade, and this is not like a regional thing. This is like not like provinces, but like it's not like a regional thing or state thing or whatever it is. This is going to be for all of Yovants. So you're perfectly clear. You're clear for travel. This covers all of those documents you need for getting to and from Reddit Slav without having any interference. The good news is, because you have this here, including like vendor licenses, with the exception of the capital city, because that's all different rules, you could actually legitimately sell potions and whatnot if you wanted to. If you actually had the time to create something and you needed to recoup some of your losses, you could actually do that without worrying about being harassed too much. That doesn't mean that there won't be like a local gang or a local guard that's looking for a little bit of side money to let you go. But that does mean that you are following the laws by breaking them. Cool? Awesome. So I don't think there was anything else in this big city that you guys are here that you had any interest in. I imagine you do actually have genuine interest in things inside the capital city, which I can tell you, without any concerns. The travel from here up the river to the next city is going to cost you guys in total, because it's significantly cheaper going on rivers. It's going to cost you just to get to RK, total of total of 8 gold more. If you just want to remove that from the character sheet, you'll be able to hop on a barge, get you guys. Nope, that's actually wrong. It's 4 gold. I'm sorry, I'm nitpicking here. 4 gold to get you guys up to RK. No issue. And from there, I imagine your characters have things that you want to look for, things of interest. This is an important thing to note, okay? Yuvance has a relationship with Arcane Congress. Yuvance had a relationship up until very recently, and still technically in ways do, with Malta, okay? Yuvance is located right next to Iscaria. This is the capital of Yuvance. This is a very high, it's such a mercantile nation that it is all mercantile. To be clear, it is all mercantile. I just told you, every caste, unless you're a slave or somebody that's just like a free folk, is, like a freedom, I forget what I called them beforehand, but just above slavery, but beneath like having any true value, everybody is a merchant. So there are definitely items you can find. I want your character, you PCs, because we are playing next week, to pour over any items of interest that you might want to get your hands on that might exist here, right? And look into it so it's not a shopping session. So we can just be like, yes or no, you can ask me in advance whether you can get your hands on.
We don't got money to go shopping.
If you don't have money, or if you have no means of selling or trying to get your hands on stuff, avoid that entirely. But kind of keep that in mind. Also think of anything inside the capital that you might want to look at or look into, or any of those details. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because for the sake of this in particular campaign, you probably have a very limited amount of stuff that you're genuinely interested in. But for the sake of you as PCs in this world, you might have things that you are interested in looking into. And so you somewhat deviate off course for a half hour, whatever it might be, just because you're curious about whatever things might be. So kind of like put some forethought into that between this week and next week, so we can kind of dive into those things. Or if you want to skip through, we can continue making your way up through RK and up through the rest of Yuvance, finally getting yourself to Renislav, where your actual story arc is taking place, right? Cool. That being said, I think we are good to go. And so good to go, I mean, Tesh, why don't you tell us who you are, how we can find you, why we care, and what exciting is going on, and did you find a mindless shooter that you could play that's either modern or replaying a fun old one like a Halo to help you sleep at night?
No, not yet. That I'm still working on. I see you've been paying attention to my Twitter.
I always pay attention to you, Tesh. Love you, man.
So I'm Tesh of the Tesh Shoe. You can find me under that name on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on Twitter to keep up to date all the things I'm doing, such as games like this with D&D. Follow me on Twitch for Warframe, Destiny 2, Fallout 76, and now that I've played the beta and thoroughly enjoyed it, on launch, New World, the new MMO that's coming out. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to be playing that on launch as well.
Awesome. And speaking of beta, how you doing, Neil?
That was good. I enjoyed that. Have you streamed any New World?
Yes, I did. I streamed one of the wars and our
I didn't catch it. I might go check
foray into the higher level areas, guided by one person who could handle the area, and the rest of us just trying not to die horribly, just to see what those areas looked like. That was a lot of fun, actually. We angered Bison, and it didn't end well.
Hey, that sounds fun. For me, I got nothing.
Okay, awesome. You and I will chat on the side afterwards anyways. And Jake, anything you care to say before I go and clean my filthy body?
No, we don't have Warmonger next week, but we do have...
Yes, sadly, I'll be in Maine for Warmonger, but we will be here for this and everything else. Mm-hmm.
Yep, so nope, nothing else going on.
Awesome. I'm hoping to get some of the pictures off of the SIM card in this camera and upload them too that I took of the beach. So I took a bunch of them, like the sunrise and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, because you don't have Twitter, Jake. I got an awesome picture of Aurora at sunrise. It was low tide sunrise, which is like perfect. That's exactly what you want from not last Saturday, but the one before. And she was doing this cute thing where I was like, all right, Rory, look at the reflection, and you could barely see your reflection looking straight down, but I got like a perfect angle where I took a picture of her and she was like bending down to look at it, and it was like a reflection of her looking at it. Oh my God, it was like, I won't lie. I was like that picture. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I want that frame. It was such a good picture. So, and I got really cool 4K videos of with the camera, 4K videos of Rory on a roller coaster for the first time and coming off of it and be like, I loved it. I want to go back on. But it's an hour-long wait to get back in line, so it's no thanks. But like I got lots of awesome stuff. So it was really, really good fun. Anyways. So I will see you guys tonight, Lost Initiative. It'll be a very interesting session, let me tell you that. All right, I gotta go get showered. I'm filthy. I'm filthy.
Stinky.
Oh, who am I rating?
The filthy boy.
Except you can't really call him a boy anymore.
I'm a man. Oh, nobody's streaming. Nobody's streaming.
Graying.
Only Russians right now. We don't want to surprise you guys with that.
Are you sure? Like, it was fun last time.
Listen, V-Sword, in just a few more weeks, we'll get a full real session. Maybe.